a bit of a wet Wednesday morning, but we are still here to say morning, Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, June 15th. We've reached the middle of the month and it's time for us to say morning, Barbados. Thank you so much for making us your choice to start your morning off right, however you do it. Thank you for being with us. And of course, by us, I mean Pearson Boyd and Colin Cunningham. Gentlemen, morning.
Good morning, Katrina. Good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful Wednesday indeed. A little bit slick, as Katrina said, but then again, it's hump day, so you never know.
Well, anyway, Colin. I just know it was raining on my way home.
What is wrong with y'all?
I don't even know why she's jumping to defense. You said it was slick. She said it was a bit of a wet day. I'm saying it was absolutely bone dry in the area where I came from. But yes, good morning to you, Barbados. And yeah, we're here. Wednesday, it is.
Did you all see a strange positioning of the moon?
I did.
It looked as if the west shifted somewhat.
It was weird. I couldn't quite figure out what it is I was looking at, but I did know it was the moon of a different sort.
Yes.
Maybe we can have a look and see what you know, why that was the way it was, because things are changing
That's
so
a
much.
very curious statement. I wasn't sure what I was looking at.
Yeah,
it was a moon of a different. It wasn't like a moon made of blue cheese or something.
Yes, it was gorgonzola, to be precise. No, but you know, you glance up at the moon, you don't really think that much about it, but then subconsciously you go, oh, right, that's first quarter, or that's last quarter, or it's a full moon.
You do that?
Yeah.
You do that, Pierce?
I don't care how the moon shines. That's the truth.
I like it when I say, oh, it's nice.
What I don't like is full moon. I do not like full moon. I become a bit of a werewolf. I just cannot sleep while it's full moon. Did you see it? It's not yet, but it's going to come soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's unusual. By the way, following up on the camping story, I saw weirdly enough that a man in Malawi has been arrested and charged and sentenced to 6 months in prison as a consequence of distributing pamphlets that said that on May 21st the world would have come to an end.
We need those laws in every country.
They said that he was disturbing the peace.
Fear-mongering should be against the law.
There you go. But because it was a first-time offense, they've decided to suspend that sentence. So he's lucky.
Yeah, wimps. They will stop. But check this out. This lady, I guess men in the U.S. could sleep a little bit easier now. This lady who had left a trail of 5 dead husbands.
Yes.
And they were actually investigating her. But she's died, and they've not, you know, a lot of families are thinking they'll get no answers. But the men now are saying, yes.
When you say trail of dead husbands, you talk about my phrasing being a bit
trail of dead husbands.
Trail of dead husbands.
Yes. One in every state.
Oh, no.
Every?
Well, no, it's only 5. It was only 5, but it's a trail. You know, she'd marry a man, and after a while, he would, even though he was in the pink of health walking down the aisle, in a few months, that would be it. She would move on with property and...
That's strong love.
Yeah, well...
That's very strong.
I don't want to be loved that strong.
That's what I'm saying. Well, here's hoping the love between Natalie Portman and her fiancé Benjamin Milpede will continue to be strong. Do you remember the lady
that baby?
Yes, she's had the baby. Do you remember? And it's a boy. Now, Natalie Portman became very famous in the all of the furor around the movie Black Swan, in which she portrayed a rather troubled ballet dancer. However, to be perfectly honest, in the picture we're seeing on Yahoo.com, she looks very healthy, very pink, very rosy. Don't know about the feet, but you talk about that kind of strong love. Let's keep the love alive between she and Benjamin. So congratulations to baby boy for Natalie Portman.
Why are they special though?
Why are they special?
Yeah, why not? Why the love should stay alive for them?
Not only them. I'm just thinking that a trail of dead husbands is not necessarily the way I want to think about nuptials.
Would either of you go to see Spider-Man?
No.
You mean the musical? Or
yes, the musical. Not that other thing.
I would go to see the musical because apparently where things happen, so I would go.
There you go. You never know. Well, Bill Clinton did go.
Yeah, he did?
And yeah, man, he came up with rave reviews about it, you know.
Really?
Yes, he did. Where were y'all watching? Right. He did come up with rave reviews of having been.
I don't have cable television.
We'll talk to you afterwards, you know. We'll give you a phone.
I've been trying. It's not that I haven't been trying.
I probably would take my godsons. I haven't managed yet to
see the musical.
Yeah, I haven't managed to take my my godson Joseph to treat him for doing really well at the common entrance.
How old is Joseph?
He's
11?
He's 11.
It's strange to find the name Joseph on an 11-year-old.
Oh, he's
nowadays.
just Joe, though. We just call him Joe. Joe and Dan and Ken.
Interesting.
But it would be an interesting way of introducing them, not just to a cartoon that they've always loved, he and his brothers have always loved as they were growing up, but then to introduce them to the musicality and the theatricality of a show. So that might be a good idea. Maybe Zell's a little bit young for that.
It may spoil it for them, though.
True.
What was that? While you're blocking their eyes and taking them out.
Spoilers. The royal spoilers. What can I tell you?
I have a story that's going to make Jack cry.
Yeah?
Is it about
Yeah.
hockey?
Let's do it.
You bet it's about hockey,
about
so let's
hockey.
make Jack
Let's do
cry
it,
today.
let's do it, let's do it.
It says here that the Boston Bruins clobbered the Canucks
Oh, no.
5-2, beat them bad, Jack.
But again?
Yeah, you know.
Oh, Lord.
Well, they extended the Stanley Cup Finals to Game 7 in Vancouver on Wednesday. Did anyone expect anything different? Hardly, the paper says, Jack. But anyway, it did go on to say that, you know, it's going back to Vancouver. Yes, it's going to finish shortly. So it's either the Bruins will win their first Cup in 39 years or the Canucks will win the first Cup in their 40-season existence. So our fingers are crossed for Jack.
Well, at least I can say for the NHL teams, they've taken it to Game 7. The Heat, of course, oh Lord, that's another story. They never even came out after Game 1. Yeah, they cooled down.
They cooled.
And you would think being in Miami would be a little bit warmer than that, but then again, Dallas is pretty, you know, Texas is pretty hot.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and they are Mavericks.
Do you remember, Colin, yesterday I was telling you that the World's Masters #1 squash player Nicole David played our champion Karen Meekins, and we weren't 100% sure of how the match went.
It's in the sports.
Yep, well...
Let's not spoil it.
Let's not spoil it, you sure? I can't give a big shout out to Karen for making at least one game on the World #1? Okay, I'll leave it, I'll leave it.
Sports, it's in the, it's the first story in the sports.
Okay, I'll leave it, I'll leave it.
Our sports team working.
Luckily, however, we do have other sports stories popping up. FIFA has questioned Blazer after a letter of complaint.
They're also, really?
Yes.
They're also saying that Lyle Warner is not, he should not
be
his position as the president, acting president.
He feels like a little bit of a political football at the moment, and I don't mean literally in terms of partisan politics, but at the moment it seems as if he's the go-to guy. If you've already gotten Warner, but you know, you'll see the story continues to have legs, and Blazer still has his beard.
Let's get to the top lines, shall we?
Yes, we shall. These are some of the stories that we're following in more detail in our main news package at 7 o'clock. We hope you join us then. The Barbados economy continues to struggle under the burden of high oil prices. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says this is the major factor that has led to the current downgrading by financial rating agency Moody Investors. The central bank, in the meantime, says it remains confident that the local market can accommodate the current and projected levels of government debt issuance. It also says the amortization profile for government's domestic debt portfolio is relatively smooth, with maturities mostly at the longer end of the maturity spectrum. The Frundle-Stewart administration has been called upon to engage Barbadians in a mature, frank discussion on the way forward for Barbados. Opposition parliamentarian Mia Motley says the disclosure from rating service Moody's must serve as a wake-up call for Barbados. Government may have to reduce the number of people it trains to become nurses. Acting Prime Minister Ronald Jones said a project was designed to train 70 nurses every year, but this will have to be cut back to reduce the massive surplus. The Jamaica police say they have been able to significantly reduce the number of criminal gangs in the country. Police Commissioner Owen Ellington said the police strategy has been reaping much success with the dismantling of half the 57 criminal gangs since the start of the year. Those are some of the stories that we'll be following in the main news package at the top of the hour. Join us then for a bit more. For now, we've been talking about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. When we go to an authority and what's happening in the international world, we go to Pearson Bowen, who's got a copy of the International Herald Tribune. It's the Tribune that's the authority, not Pearson.
It sounded good, though.
I'm sure it did.
I take that.
You own it. You claim it.
I do indeed. This is such a beautifully written story, I think. Listen to this, guys. She was born in a mud hut in an isolated hamlet in Africa with no electricity or running water, a 10-minute hike from the nearest road. Unschooled, she was married off to a distant cousin as a teenager, had a daughter, and was soon widowed. Not long after, however, she arrived in the United States. One more anonymous immigrant in her 20s struggling to make a new life. Who are we talking about? Well, this person came into an encounter on May the 14th. She told the authorities that she had been sexually assaulted by the French politician Dominique Strauss-Kahn. Such a beautifully written story is on the front page of today's International Herald Tribune. Also in the paper today, in the first major debate of the campaign, the leading Republican presidential hopefuls clearly signaled that they had moved from the party's hawkish September 11th view that little should be allowed to stand in the way of its projections in the U.S. military power. You can read more of that in the International Herald Tribune too. Greek blames migrants for Athens' crime wave, and we ourselves are struggling sometimes with free movement of persons in the Caribbean. As the Greek government struggles to save its debt-wrapped economy from collapse, another crisis is growing in that capital, which is a sharp increase in violent crime, stirring unrest among a public already demoralized by unending economic hardships. Those are some of the stories you'll find in today's International Herald Tribune. Remember, go to newspapersdirect.com and get your hookup on them being able to deliver it to your home. That's in today's paper. What's happening?
Well, we come home, and speaking about home, when I decided to put my home in the middle of a roundabout, the last thing I expected was that it would make the front page. Look at it there. Nice. Picked out the colors myself. Yeah, can you zoom in right there? Yeah, look at it. That's where, right there, that's where I live. And if you look in the smaller picture, that's a driveway. Well, actually, it's not. Oh. But it has been causing some concern. Roundabout Wonder, it's called on the front page. A representative of Craving Paving, that's Creative Paving Solutions, explained that the work was actually a display of products for some of the island's major home and building equipment suppliers. So if you were wondering what that was about.
Which roundabout is that, by the way?
It is the roundabout at Layers and Lower Estates in George. You pass there often?
I'll take a trip.
Slip in rating. Barbados get downgrade from Moody's. That's also on the front page. Then Mystery Sea Creature returns. Must like Barbados. 11 plus not watered down. Minister admits women benefiting more. Well, that should be an interesting read. On the back page, you heard us talk about the situation in FIFA. That's also there. And a new hero in town. We were talking about Spider-Man. We have Charlie, the crime stopper. On the front page of the Advocate, Charlie is also there. Then the headline, Dual Campus on the cards for 2012. Music, social networking, hinder interaction. That's a discussion right there. Hinder interaction. And break for PWDs. You should read all about it in the Advocate newspaper. Those are the newspapers this morning.
Well, coming up in our program, we have our usual friends. The doctor on the line will be in. We'll also be taking your calls during that segment. But even though I've cut my hair off, I'm still very excited about one of our guests who I'm sure is going to bring us all of the wonderful tips and trends about what's happening in the world of hair fashion. Pearson, I won't say any more.
Nothing more.
Nothing
would I. So we'll take a break and we'll come back with even more here on Morning Barbados.
Morning Barbados, good morning.